Hey, how are you? I realize you can't talk back. I just felt like imitating Dora for my first introduction to a solo video back. Hello. I really like talking about movies. If you know me in person, if you don't, you're going to learn. But I really missed making movie reviews, and I wanted to start doing them more, and was waiting for a while. And the reason I haven't uploaded in a while is because I didn't have a really great setup. But I feel like this will work. This will work. This is, as I call the Zach Cave. There's no fancy microphones, no special setup. This is just me and the phone. And I figured that'd be a lot of fun to do because I'm not doing this for, a career. I just wanted to have fun. And I really like talking about movies with other people. I've got loads of videos in mind to make, some rankings, some top 10 of 2022, and just different ideas, but I wanted to start small and try and stay current best I can. And today we're going to talk about M3GAN, or M3GAN, Gesundheit. I'd like to preface this review by saying I had very low expectations for this movie. It's PG-13, scary movie, released in January. Those three are usually a match made in hell, with a capital or heck for short. M3GAN is directed by Gerard Johnstone and stars Allison Williams as Gemma, an aunt to a recently orphaned child. The plot follows Gemma, a budding toy engineer and really smart person overall, working for a toy company about to launch its next product. Unfortunately, she has her own ideas on what that next big product is, and is perfectly timed when her niece's parents pass away, unfortunately, in a car accident. And like any good aunt says, you know what? Instead of taking on a motherhood role, I'm gonna make you a robot doll. And yet I think that's also the reason I really wanted to talk about it, is because I had a pretty good time with this movie. It's a very fun horror comedy that walks that tightrope between the two very well. There are moments where I thought this is a good creepy, but this joke doesn't outweigh the creepiness we're seeing on screen. Or this is really creepy, but it's not overly creepy that I can't not take it serious. Needless to say, this movie was a breath of fresh air, as there was lots of thrillers and horror movies last year that just tried way too hard to be so deep and thought-provoking that they really just ended up boring or bad. But M3GAN, thankfully, is neither. It's very entertaining. There's not a moment I was like looking at my, invisible watch. There wasn't anything I thought that dragged, really. And it's one of those where it really builds and it just starts up and just snowballs. Like, this movie just keeps going once it hits a point and ends at just the perfect moment. There's nothing that feels too prologue-y or epilogue-y. There's nothing that feels wasted. It's all just boom, boom, boom. Short, sweet, to the point. While I'm no expert on killer doll movies, I do think that this is what the 2019 Child's Play reboot was trying to be. It really takes the classic killer doll trope and blends it with technology in a way that's actually kind of interesting and has really good messages about technology. In fact, sometimes it's more iRobot than an outright scary movie, as it commentates on how technology is a good distraction but not a solution, and how many parents or parental figures simply give their kids a laptop instead of actually teaching them how to be a person. That's explored very well through Gemma and Katie's relationship. I'd also like to say that the actress for Katie did a very good job, as well as the two actresses that did M3GAN. One who did her body motions anytime she was dancing around or, slicing and dicing, and the voice actress who also did a really good job. There's actually quite a few things that reminded me of the bits and pieces I've seen of the original Child's Play movies. There's one point where she grabs somebody and just swears at them, and I couldn't help but laugh because it's just this like very visceral, like, in your face thing coming out of this like doll. But it's not to say she isn't creepy, because from the first time we see M3GAN on screen, even as just a prototype, I was like, can we look away now? I don't want to look at there anymore. I get it. Spooky. It's spooky. I get it. All right. But it does a really good job building the story first and then getting to the spooky stuff. And I really appreciate that. I feel like a lot of horror movies try so hard to be scary right away or just jump scare palooza, but this one actually had some decent ones and was just more eerie throughout versus something that's like full on terrifying. I mean, granted, this is a PG-13 scary movie in 2023. I don't think this is something a lot of kids are going to be outright scared of, considering they probably will and do see worse on TikTok or anything else they're on. But I do think this is a good story to mull over. It's also very clear that this was intended to be an R movie, but somewhere in the process, Blumhouse thought, we could make some more money if we didn't make this rated R. So there's some pretty big cuts, but that doesn't mean that there's not disturbing scenes. Quite a few things in here I was like, they can show that in a PG-13 movie now? So, kind of as a content warning, I suppose. Well, the execution of M3GAN is definitely its biggest strength. I think the weakness is in the writing. There's some jokes here and there that just don't land or feel very like, oh, this is funny for a modern audience, but it's like, no, you know. And there's one subplot I thought was going to start something and then went nowhere. And I was like, well, that would have been kind of interesting, talking about how even people in the business corporate world can screw each other over. But nope, it was just one scene and a really bad joke. I was like, oh, thanks, that was pointless. It's things like that that kind of bring M3GAN down from being something as great as it could be. But at the same time, this was never going to be a modern classic. I think it's a very good modern scary movie for what it is, and gives me hope and actually gets me in the mood to watch other ones. There were so many moments that I was just sitting there smiling like, all right, it's going to happen. Someone's going to jump out. It's going to jump out. And I realized how much I missed that feeling. I don't remember being that like for a movie in a while, because there's movies like Pearl, but that was more artsy and at times creepy, more disturbing. That's kind of the A24 thing. But this is Blumhouse. This is about the thrills and the chills and the kills. Yeah. I'm sorry about that. I also don't want to say that writers directly did a bad job. I am a writer. I have 2 degrees in English now, and I never want to come up to like, well, I could have made something better than that. I think there's a lot of just maybe studio stuff that kind of came into play, and things they wanted to include versus things they should have included. I'm no expert on horror, but like I said, had a really good time with M3GAN. It's a lot of fun. It's creepy enough. It's not too long. Just the right little dose, like a late night cheeseburger. You know, it's like, that hits different. Been having a lot of late night cheeseburgers lately. At the end of the day, I think I can easily recommend M3GAN. If you're a horror fan, this will be a nice treat. If you're not super big into scary movies, might not be your thing. If you're someone who's looking to get someone into scary movies, I think this is a decent place to start. It's approachable, it's not too full of itself, and it's just a lot of dumb fun. And what beats that? My final rating for M3GAN is 7.5 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please go watch M3GAN, form your own opinions. And if not, I would say recommend it to someone else. Word of mouth is crazy good for movies. As someone who worked at a movie theater for years, I know sometimes that's what really helps sell a movie. And I think that's what happened with M3GAN, and that's really cool to see. Again, this is kind of just a return video, nothing too fancy or special, as you can see, but I like this. I like talking, and I like sharing my opinions. Just what the internet needed. Another white guy sharing his opinions. Huh? But for real, I don't know what an algorithm is, and at this point, I'm too scared to ask. I want this to become a work of love for me. That's why I'm kind of saying these things, because I'm literally looking at the camera in my phone to me. I'm saying it to me. Like, you guys can listen if you want, but I'm talking out loud here. No, but for real, thank you so much for watching. I hope to do more of these in the future. And yeah, have a good one.